King Charles has revealed his biggest regret from his historical coronation weekend, as he admitted he was too far away to see the performers at the Windsor Castle concert. The 74-year-old monarch later told the organizers of the event, which starred huge names including Lionel Richie, Take That and a host of other artists, that he wished he had been seated closer or had taken his binoculars, The Express reports. He and his wife Queen Camilla were joined by Princess Anne and the Duchess of Edinburgh this week to host a Buckingham Palace reception to express their gratitude to the organisers of the coronation weekend in May and events following the death of Queen Elizabeth last year. There was a reminder of a humorous moment on Coronation Day that amused many viewers when the royals met Claire Balding, who did the BBC commentary for the processions from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Abbey and back again. Ms. Balding, 52, recalled, "I managed to say, which is a perfectly acceptable horsey phrase, that the Princess Royal had been very quickly mounted, and joined the procession. I didn't bat an eyelid at that. I didn't even realize. When I got home, my partner Alice said, 'You seem to have caused a bit of a stir.' But that's just the sort of thing that would make them, the royal family, all laugh." Over 6,000 members of the armed forces participated in the coronation, with the estimated cost of the service amounting to £50 £100m. However, the bank holiday weekend did manage to boost British hospitality by around $1 million, as pubs reportedly pulled around 62 million pints to thrilled Brits during the celebration. Buckingham Palace noted that the monarch desired a more modern and toned-down ceremony to reflect his new era, stating, "The coronation will reflect the monarch's role today and look towards the future, while being rooted in long-standing traditions and pageantry." The King and other royals met everyone from composers and florists to support staff and the military at the palace reception. Charles spoke to the team from the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead about the huge logistical effort of organising the concert in Windsor Castle grounds on the Sunday evening after the coronation. Neil Walter, who was in charge of parking, said the monarch told him how he was seated so far away he could not properly see what was happening on the stage. Mr. Walter said, he said next time he would like to be closer, or bring his binoculars. Debbie Wiseman, who was one of 12 composers commissioned to write music for the coronation, wrote 2 Alleluias, one of which was performed by the Ascension Choir. She said after meeting the King that she had also composed music marking the death of the late Queen Elizabeth. She said, "I wrote the music for the 10 days of national mourning for the BBC. I wrote that 5 years earlier, before the Queen died. So that was bittersweet. Subsequently I was asked to write the music for the coronation. So there were these 2 incredible events, one after the other." Writing the music for the Queen's funeral was challenging because when I was writing it I had just been with at her 90th birthday celebration at Windsor, when she was in fantastic health, on fine form and looking amazing, and there was I thinking about the day that she might pass away. I wanted it to be a tribute to her, something that was warm, something that remembered her with great affection. And was not sad, because she had this incredible life. It was a joyful piece. She continued, "We had to do it in the utmost secrecy. We went into the studio with the BBC Concert Orchestra knowing that the Queen was fit and well, knowing that we had to sign these non-disclosure agreements, and record the music for our late Queen's funeral. It was a very surreal thing to do, and also a huge privilege. For the coronation, the King was so involved with everything. He wanted the gospel choir that I wrote the music for. He wanted it to be the best possible musical showcase it could be. And oh my goodness, it really did do that. Shane Connolly, who was the florist for the coronation, said the King and Queen said later that they had loved the flowers. He added, "They appreciated every single stem, and the fact that it was given by British growers and British gardeners. It meant so much. I think it meant the world to them. One of the few things in the Abbey that was about them as people were the flowers. They were incredibly pleased." Ogbana Oye, Sergeant-at-Arms of the House of Commons, is responsible for ceremonial events there and helped organise the Queen's lying in state at Westminster Hall. He said, "I spent a huge amount of time in Westminster Hall where the Queen was lying in state. People came in at the top from St. Stephen's Hall, and there was awe in their faces, their jaws dropped and they paused. Then they came slowly down the steps past the catafalque, paid their respects, and by time they got to the north doors to leave the atmosphere had changed and they were chatting to each other, and by time they got to the gate it was almost a celebratory moment." Join the Daily Record's WhatsApp community here and get the latest news sent straight to your messages. Jenny Collier of London Scribes, one of two calligraphers who wrote the names on the coronation invitations, said, "I found it deeply humbling writing all the world leaders' names, knowing that everybody would come together for this incredible occasion, and they would really reinforce positive relationships." London Scribes probably spent 10 solid days over a few weeks writing them all. "I really enjoyed, I would do it again." The military were similarly involved in Queen Elizabeth's state funeral on September 19 last year, including 175 different personnel from across the Commonwealth. The gun carriage was arranged in a historical fashion in a display that's not been seen since the funeral of Winston Churchill in 1965, with 98 Royal Navy sailors pulling it and another 40 marching behind as brakes. Many were on hand to assist during the Queen's lying in state, with people waiting up to 24 hours in a queue that stretched as long as 10 miles to see her coffin and pay their respects.
I just